to our long division homework help video. So we're going to start here with these first couple of problems. We'll start out with number one, kind of tricky there. And so these are listed as factors, but some of them are and some of them aren't. Which one is not a factor and which one is a factor? And so all we do is solve for x, so set each of those equal to 0. And so then for that first one, we're going to add minus 1 to the other side, right? So x plus 1 equals 0, minus 1 to the other side. So we get x equals negative 1. And so we want to know, is that a factor? Those two right there, these two things right here. Are these factors? Is x plus 1 or x equals negative 1? Is that a factor of the equation? And so let's see here. So using the remainder theorem, we're going to go ahead and plug in x equals negative 1 into the equation here, as well as in place for x there and in place for x there. Okay, so right there actually. Okay, so what we're going to do there is we're going to go f of negative 1, plugging in negative 1 wherever you see an x, negative 2 with negative 1 all squared, plus 15 times negative 1 minus 7. Again, we did x equals negative 1, and we plugged it into the function here and here. So right there and right there is where we plug it into the function. And so if we get that equaling 0, then yes, it is a factor. So I guess we could come over here and set it equal to 0, right? Okay, so negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1 times negative 2. Plus, let's see here, 15 times negative 1 is a negative 15. And minus 7. Bring that down. We'll get rid of the plus symbol there. Okay, so then, let's see here. So we have negative 2 minus 15 minus 7. What's that going to be? 15 and 9, so a minus 25, which does not equal 0. And since it doesn't equal to 0, no. So not a factor. So that means that we're going to come over here, we're going to put an x there. A is not a factor. So basically we want to circle the ones that are factors and cross out the ones that aren't. Okay, so x plus 1 is not a factor. We're going to try now x minus 7. When you plug that in, you'll get positive 7. So you'll get x equals a positive 7 is what you want to plug in. Okay, so then we'll plug it in there and we'll go negative 2 times 7 all squared plus 15 times 7 and then minus 7. So 7 squared is 49. And negative 2 times 49 is what? Negative 98. Cool. And then 15 times 7 is, let's see, 7 times 5 is 35. 3 up there. 7 times 1 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 105. So we have negative 98, we have a plus 105, and then minus 7. Well, if you put that in your calculator, or even look at it, negative 98 with negative 7 is actually negative 105. So when you combine those together, you do in fact get 0. You get 0 equals 0. So that means that x minus 7 is, yes, a factor. Okay? So you're going to do the same for all these for number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to plug in a 2. You might even be able to do some of it in your head, but be careful. So a positive 2 is what you plug in. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is negative 8. 2 times 15 is 30, minus 7. And then 30 minus 7 is 23, minus 8 is 15. 15 does not equal 0, so not a factor. So only x minus 7. So you might get 2 solutions. You might get all 3 of them work. You might get none of them working. So none, all, 1, 2 of them are all the different possible solutions, right? All of them, one of them, none of them. Okay, so just circle the ones that are and cross off the ones that are. So that's what you're going to do for those ones. And then for, let's see here, for number 5, number 6, long division. So maybe we'll jump down to, I'm thinking maybe number 6. Which one did you want me to do maybe? Ooh, number 7 looks kind of tricky. Let's see here. So maybe we'll do number 7. What do you think? Yeah, I'll let you do number 12. That was kind of tricky too. But number 7, that's a good one to look at. Ooh, that one's definitely, well, not too tricky, but we'll see. Okay, so number 7, you write that first. So 2x minus 5 goes into 2x cubed. So we're doing number 7 on the back side. And then you can flip back over to the front side and do number 5 and number 6. Okay, so we need 2x to become just like 2x cubed. We need to multiply it by something. So let's see here. So we're going to go 2x times something becomes 2x cubed. What is that something? So that something is, let's see, we already have the 2, we already have the x. Oh, but we need 2 more x's, right? Yeah, so if we multiply it by times x, that's x squared. Multiply it by x squared, so then x times x squared is x cubed. So that's right. So we're going to go ahead and put that, we're going to put a x squared here, and that's the first part of our answer. That's the first part of our answer. So maybe I'll move my work over here just to kind of get it out of the way. And then we'll bring the x squared back. There you go. So then 2x times, so we can put a little times symbol there. So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. Good. And then negative 5, you also have to multiply the 5 through as well. Just to let you know that. You multiply 2x times x squared, we got 2x cubed. Then negative 5 times x squared is right over here below the 9x squared. So minus 5x squared. Good. Okay, so then we got that. Then you have to, you know what I mean? Change the signs, so that becomes a negative 2x cubed and a positive 5x squared. Good. This problem looks vaguely familiar. So then 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0, that just goes away. And then negative 9x squared with a positive 5x squared, what's that, a negative? Positive 5, negative 9 is a negative 4x squared. Good. Then we bring down the 15, good. Oh, uh-oh. So that's why this one was tricky. It was actually missing the x to the first power there. Wow, that was close. So, because that, I noticed the x squared, and then the next one should be x to the first, but it's 15. I was like, wait a sec, that's not right. It should be x to the first power. So I'm going to put a 0x to the first power, and then a plus 15 goes on the end. Okay, goes on the end there. Alright, so that means I'll bring down the 0x to the first power, and then we can continue on. So now how does 2x, we'll do it in black. How does, how does 2x become just like negative 4x squared? Well, another way to show that I don't think I even mentioned in class was you could actually take that negative 4x squared, and you could divide it by 2x, and then you can get the answer there, right? So then, let's see here. Well, negative 4 divided by 2 is just a negative 2. And then x squared, well, one of those cancels with this one. So then leaving us just a, yeah, so all we need is a negative 2x. Cool. So I'm going to put a negative 2x up here, part of my answer there. And then I'm going to go 2x times negative 2x is negative 4x squared. Good. So then those match up. That's what we needed. And then negative 5 times 2x is a negative 5 times negative 2x is a positive 10x. Good. So then we'll go ahead and change the signs. So we'll go ahead and change the signs there. It's because of Psych, my favorite show. It's their fault. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and change the signs there. Scribble this out and change the sign. So then the negative 4x squared cancel with the positive 4x squared. Those cancel, leaving us with just 0x to the first with a negative 10x to the first. And so that's just going to be a negative 10x to the first power. Cool. Then we bring down the 15 finally. There we go. Bring down the 15 there. Excellent. So then we're going to see, so how does 2x become a negative 10x? Well, if we multiply it by what? A 5? Probably a negative 5, huh? So multiply it by a negative 5. So then 2x times negative 5 is a negative 10x. Good, matches. And then negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. Good. There we go. And then, let's see here. So then we change the sign. Change the sign. That becomes a positive 10x. That becomes a negative 25. Those cancel, leaving us with a remainder of negative 25 and positive 15 is a negative 10. These are very similar to guided notes, huh? Okay, so negative 10, good. So that means we have a remainder of negative 10. However, I forgot to share with you in class that we need to write that as not just negative 10, but we need to come back over here to the divisor and change it to a negative 10 divided. Let me erase this work here that I've shown you before. Change this to a negative 10 divided by the divisor, like that. Okay? So our final answer is x squared minus 2x minus 5 with remainder negative 10 over 2x minus 5. So you can ask me in class why we have to do that again, and I'll show you why with just a regular long division problem. I mean, the major reason is, if you remember from our guided notes, we were doing, I think it was like 23 into 335, I think it was. That sounds right. And then we did 23, and we minus. This is from our guided notes. And then we got 0, 1, then we brought down the 5. And then it was 14, and 23 times 14 is 92. And then 5 minus 2 is 3, 10 minus 9 is 1. So we did have a remainder 13. However, that's not the exact answer. It's actually 14 plus remainder 13 divided by 23. And you're like, why isn't just remainder 13, Mr. Newbold? Well, we have to include that 23. The divisor goes in the bottom because if you look at a calculator here, like this, okay, and if we want to times that back again, to get 335, you have to do 14 plus, and then let's see here, so 14 plus 13 divided by 23, if it lets me do it. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's try it the other way around. We'll do 13 divided by 23. Good. Then we'll add that with the 14. Get some cool decimal number. Cool. So that 14 and the remainder, so plus 13 over 23. That's 14.565217. Now when you take that number, which is our answer, and you multiply it by 23, guess what you get? Multiply it by 23, guess what you get? You get 335. So 23 times, right? 14 plus remainder 13 over 23. Yeah, okay, so we got to make sure then, for these ones we do the remainder. Let me just do one more there to help you out. I think we'll go ahead, number 9 doesn't look too bad. Maybe we'll help you with number 11, that looks pretty good. So we'll do it one more time now. So we'll do x minus 2 into x cubed minus 7x squared plus 13x plus 3. Making sure that we have the powers, 3, 2, 1, 1. Okay, good, we're looking good there. So just wanted to make sure that we had all our powers before, because we might need a placeholder, right? Okay, so how does x become x cubed? Well, you times x squared. Cool. So then x times x squared is x cubed. Negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Change the signs. Okay, so then we change those signs there, so that becomes a plus 2x squared. Ah, the lights went off. I can't see. Oh, there we go. All right, excellent. So x cubed minus x cubed goes away. Good. And then negative 7x squared to the positive 2x squared is negative 5x squared. Good. Bring down the 13x. Then how does x become negative 5x squared? Probably a negative 5x, right? Negative 5x. If you weren't sure how I got that, you could take negative 5x squared, is what we're trying to get, divide it by x, and the 2 cancels with the x, leaving us with just negative 5x. Good. So then x times negative 5x is negative 5x squared. And let's do it in a different color there. Negative 5x squared. Good. And then negative 2 times negative 5x is a positive 10x. And then we change the signs. So now the 5x squareds cancel. And then 13x minus 10x is 3x. Good. And then bring down the 3. And then how does x become a 3x? Let's see. Times it by 3, right? So we're going to put a plus 3 here on the end. And x times plus 3. So x times 3 is 3x. Good. A different color there. So then x times 3 is 3x. And then negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. So then change the signs. The 3x's go away. We're left with a remainder of 9. So then our final answer there is x squared minus 5x plus 3. And then with the remainder of 9 over x minus 2, our divisor. Okay, so we'll circle that as our final answer there for number 11. However, I forgot with both of those, we have to say whether they're a factor or not. And since we have a remainder, it's not a perfect factor. So since we have a remainder, we say no. Since we have a remainder, no. X minus 2 is not a factor. If we divide into it evenly with no remainder, then we'd say yes, it is a factor. So since we have a remainder, no, x minus 2 is not a factor. So the answer is no. Going backwards to this one that we did, number 7, that one had a remainder, and we also want to go ahead and write the word no. Not a factor for number 7 as well as number 11. Okay, so don't forget your remainder. That's something new I kind of touched on the video. And then also put no, not a factor. So try that for the rest of them. Thanks for watching. Get it done by next time there, or whatever day I said. And we will see you soon. Look on the calendar. That has the due date on there too. Thanks for watching, and appreciate you watching. Peace out. Take care. Bye.